Namaste, beloved! How are you? My name is Syma and I'm a sacred feminine and spiritual coach, healer, and author. And I have the blessing of supporting highly sensitive and soulful women all over the world in transforming your greatest inner blocks and flourishing in every way and manifesting your boldest dreams and becoming the goddesses that you truly are by really reclaiming your divine feminine power. So first of all, I just want to say, oh my goddess, thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed. In between making the last video and this one now, we've hit over 20,000 subscribers, and that was never my intention. I didn't even know what subscribers were when I made my first video a few years back. It was a soulmate love meditation, and I would start getting these notifications that someone has subscribed. I didn't know what that meant, and when I see you guys subscribing, it just tells me that what I'm doing, what I feel called to do is serving you, and that's why I do what I do, because this is my passion and it's my mission. So thank you so much, and my prayer is to continue to serve you, to hold you, for you to come to these videos and really feel loved and supported and like you're held. I really, really want you to feel that when we are connecting in this way, and I'm so grateful to YouTube for allowing us to connect in this way. So thank you so much. For those of you who are subscribers, a couple of quick updates why it's taken quite a while for me to make this new video. I moved to a lovely new place, so now I live on the ravine, and I'll make a video about how I manifested that, because there was a lot of things that happened that I want to share to give you some empowering tools, so stay tuned for that. And most of all, I've been in incubation mode because I am writing my next book and it's about to get published. So officially the title is Goddess Reclaimed: 13 Initiations to Unleash Your Sacred Feminine Power, and that comes out this fall. October 31st, the blessed day of Samhain 2017, and it will be available on Amazon, on Kindle, and eventually at bookstores as well through our distributors. So super excited to get that out to you, and that's why it's taken a while to make this video. So thank you so much for your patience, and so I'm ready to get back. And today's topic is to share with you some divine guidance about some of the darker goddesses that help us to do shadow work. And why this is so important, because, well, first of all, I'm inspired because we are entering fall right now, so we're in October, and fall is the time of the descent. It's when the goddess descends and enters the darker realms, the realm of the underworld, which is really a metaphor for our unconscious. And this is a very, very potent, powerful time. So September, with the harvest, we are harvesting, right? It's a culmination of everything we've manifested. And remember, this is not so little with the seasons of the year and the weather, but it's also the seasons of our lives. And it's all connected, especially as women, because of our cyclical nature, right? So harvesting our blessings and all that has come into fruition, but then it's a time of incubation, descent, introspection, releasing, reflecting, reevaluating, retreating, and it's a really sacred time. And I find that sometimes this is a little discouraged, this descent period or this time of going within. Sometimes we fear it, and it can be very challenging. And there are beautiful, amazing, powerful goddesses that can be your allies. And remember, as I teach, you can think of goddesses in any way, right? They are deities, they are archetypes, they are myths, they are sacred feminine aspects of your own divine nature. I explain all this in my book too, but I just want you to know that, no matter what your spiritual orientation, your religious background, goddesses are for everyone, men and women, all of us. So the specific goddesses that help us with shadow work are goddesses of the underworld and goddesses of the ocean. One particular goddess is Sedna, and Sedna is a native goddess of the ocean, and the ocean, like I was saying, always represents the unconscious. So it's the darkness of the ocean, the depths of the ocean, delving into this. So we connect with this in our dreams. We connect with this sometimes when we are in a meditative state or when we're journaling, and hypnotherapy, certain meditations, these kinds of experiences can really help us to tap into our unconscious. And it's so powerful to do this sacred work because it's dark and it's scary and it can feel lonely. Sedna was a goddess. Her story is that she was basically killed by her father. He married her off to what turned out to be a monster on an island. When she asked her father to help her escape, on their way back, this monster made the sea very tumultuous and made it so that they couldn't actually steady themselves on the boat. So Sedna's father threw her over the boat, and as she clung on to the boat, he severed her fingers and she drowned and died. But then all shadow work, right? All goddesses are truly a story of resurrection and transformation. So then what happens is Sedna transforms those severed limbs, fingers, they turn into the animals of the sea, the whales and the dolphins, and it is said that she lies at the floor because she's there to greet you when you make that descent into your unconscious, and she obviously understands pain and trauma and being betrayed. And so many times we have so many griefs that we hold on to that we don't actually process and consciously heal. So Sedna is a wonderful ally, my love, to help you to not only delve, but then bring that to the surface of the ocean so that you can deal with it, so you can face it, so that you can feel it and heal it. So the next thing is with Sedna, water, that's the element of the feelings. In tarot, it's the emotions. And this ocean water, the depths of these waters, right, they help us to heal. And in order to heal, we have to feel. And that's the only way, right? It's not just a matter of meditating and being detached from our emotions and observing them, which is a divine masculine way of processing our emotions, but we don't really get to process them, whereas the dark feminine says, go in there. Feel it full force. It is your sacred right to feel everything. And so you'd want to do this in a very safe and supportive space for yourself. So whether that's with a healer, a coach, a really grounded, centered friend or confidant that can really hold space for you and be that loving mirror for you, journaling even, praying, talking to the divine, meditating with Sedna. These are some practices that you can do that will really help you, my love. The next goddesses are, okay, I don't have a card for Ereshkigel, but by the way, in my book, we're going to have some illustrations. So we have Inanna, and Inanna usually gets a lot of credit for being a goddess of the underworld, but the fact is that she's not the goddess of the underworld. Her older sister, Ereshkigel, is the queen of the underworld. Inanna enters the underworld, which is the realm of Ereshkigel, and there she is killed, and then she's resurrected. But it's not really because Inanna does anything to redeem herself per se. And it's so important to actually know the true myth and why it's set up that way, because in the actual myth, it's not Inanna but Ereshkigel who's praised in the end. And the reason for that is that when we're doing this inner work, we can't go with that Inanna self, the conscious spirit even. We have to really humble ourselves and get naked as Inanna did and show up bowed low with none of the layers that we tend to protect ourselves in or with, and let ourselves be humbled before our shadow. The shadow is the part of us that is all of our darkness, but there's nothing wrong with this darkness. It is part of who we are. And I get really sad when I see a lot of spiritual teachings focus on overcoming the ego or, transcending the ego, and it's all about the spirit and ascension. But the goddesses say the ascension is great, but the descent is as valuable and as necessary for that wholeness. Okay, so that's why I love this so much, because we have to go to that shadow self and grieve with her and honor her feelings. And when we don't, what ends up happening is we manifest experiences in our lives to show us where we need to heal, to show us what we're still not consciously aware of that needs to come to the surface for our conscious witnessing and acknowledging and feeling and processing and healing. And when we haven't healed this, not only do we attract people, but we're actually looking for people, not as whole integrated beings ourselves, but we're sort of showing up as the unhealed, maybe inner child, or we're still carrying these traumas from our past experiences and our wounds, and we are looking for that rescuer or that healer or that person to make us feel worthy and valuable and supported and loved and good enough and appreciated. Whereas when we actually embrace that part of ourselves that doesn't feel that way, and we give her that unconditional love and acceptance and support, we bring our own selves back to wholeness. And then we attract people in our lives who also match that vibration, who have maybe walked that path themselves and are really conscious and self-aware, not only of their spirituality, but of their darkness. So I hope you can see how passionate I am about this work, because it is so essential. And, many of you know with my journey, I had a lot of every form of childhood abuse, sexual and physical and emotional. And then I had some therapy in my high school, which was very helpful. And I always recommend getting therapy and professional help whenever, it's needed. But then I found that it fell short, and I only discovered this in a second major depression I had again later in my life, where I realized I needed to descend and feel that pain. I needed to face that shadow, and it was the hardest and most painful work I've done in my life. So I'm not trying to tell you that it's easy work. It's much easier to hope that someone else will come and rescue us from ourselves. So it's much more challenging and brave to do this on ourselves or with ourselves. And I don't mean to do that on your own, right? Like I said, you can absolutely get support, work with someone, work with the divine. You're never alone. You're always divinely supported, but it's about not depending on other people to do this for us, so that we can really be there for ourselves. So, by the way, Inanna and Ereshkigel are in chapter or gateway 2 of my book, and the reason for that is we need to go into the descent. So my book is sort of, it's organized as a journey, maybe a heroine's journey or a goddess's journey, and my intention is by the end you feel like a whole empowered queen goddess. But in order to get to the end, to that place, we actually start by going down. We go into the descent and we meet the first few goddesses are some of the dark goddesses. And by dark I don't mean evil or anything like that. It's just that they embrace what's uncomfortable, what's raw, what's painful, our raw primal emotions of anger, rage, and grief. So such essential work, my loves. And finally, one of our classic goddesses of the underworld is the Greek goddess Persephone. Hopefully you can see her there. So Persephone is the daughter of Demeter. We just did a Demeter online goddess circle that you can access if you want for September, because she's the earth mother harvest goddess. And then Persephone as a daughter goes into the underworld from fall to winter, which explains why there's, it's how the Greeks explained fall and winter. It was that her mother Demeter goes into grief and a depression, and so there's no more life, nothing grows during that time. But what's happening behind the scenes with Persephone is she's initially abducted and, in certain interpretations, raped by the Hades, the god of the underworld. And a whole bunch of, again, drama happens as it is in these epic myths. But she ends up being reunited with her mother for every spring and summer. So she's also the goddess of spring, but Persephone again reminds us of that duality, that you can be both the queen of the underworld and the queen of spring and new life, new beginnings and resurrection and renewal. So she no longer is the victim. When she descends, first she's the victim, but then she rises victorious and she becomes a queen and she rules beside Hades, and then she plays her own role. She helps different heroes. She helps Psyche at one point. So she's always known to be a very gracious hostess in the underworld. She greets the souls in the afterlife and these ghosts. And, metaphorically speaking, these are the ghosts of our own unconscious. This is, again, those lost parts of ourselves within ourselves that we also can become the queen of by guiding them, by witnessing them, by loving them, by honoring them, and by embracing them. So these goddesses are just so awesome. They're so helpful, and I hope that learning about them just a little bit today has supported you. If you want to know more about Persephone, we're dedicating the October online goddess circle to her, and you can join anytime afterwards. So I'll leave a link for you if you're interested in exploring that. It's a really lovely way for us to gather in sacred sisterhood, where I delve into a lot more details. We do some live rituals, and I lead you. The most powerful part for me is leading you through a guided meditative journey or shamanic journey with the goddesses, and it's my sisters who join say that that's also the most powerful part for them. And we have a beautiful Facebook group if you just are craving that support and sisterhood, my love. So I really hope these goddesses have supported you. I am so excited to have you join my journey, and if you're subscribing, thank you so much. If you haven't and you want to learn more about the goddesses, please do. If this video has served you, and if you think there's anyone else who might benefit from hearing this, please do share this with them. And I'm here for you, so please do stay connected and leave me a comment. Tell me which one of these goddesses you might be working with on your own healing journey back to wholeness and back to fullness and back to healing and being the queen of both, spirit and shadow, of light and dark. Because we goddesses have domains over all realms, right? We rule all realms. So that's what my book is about too. So I can't wait to help you become the queen that you are. I'll leave details on my book when it comes out too. Come over at flourishinggoddess.com, and if you sign up to my newsletter, you'll definitely be updated on when the book comes out. I would love for you to get a copy, my love. So thank you again so much. Find me at flourishinggoddess.com. So many free resources for you, a guided meditation for you, a lot more videos and resources. And just, stay connected and know that I am here for you. I love you, and I'm sending you so much love. Namaste.